at the rail, quarter of a mile to go. Glory of Chrome still doing it well within herself. Glory of Chrome turns for home with a 2.5 length lead on Big Bell in second. Then Rihanna Rose and Keep It Classy, a furlong left to go. And it's Glory of Chrome by 5. Big Bell is second, but not making any headway on this loose leader, Glory of Chrome, who's going to take them all the way. A very easy victory for Glory of Chrome under Victor Espinoza, winning by 6 lengths. Big Bell second by another 7 or 8. Then Rihanna Rose and Keep It Classy. The balance of the day at 0 feet. They're in the gate. Movement from Warrior's Moon. And they're off. Froze out quickly. Tayet on the far outside. Summer Daisy along the rail has some speed too. And now Looking So Lucky moves up to claim third. By the stands and Frost the leader, trying to slow things down. Summer Daisy comes through on the inside, and Looking So Lucky is in third. Then Noble Hearted, followed by Tayet and Warrior's Moon at the back of the field. 6 lengths front to back. Frost is the one to catch. Opens up 2. Summer Daisy clearly second. Looking So Lucky 4 off the pace in third. Then Noble Hearted, followed by Tayed, who's 5 lengths off the lead. Another 2, Warrior's Moon tugging a bit at the back. Down the back stretch, Frost and Mario Gutierrez with a 2.5 length edge. Summer Daisy second, same margin. Looking So Lucky third. And down at the rail, Noble Hearted a closer fourth. Very willing at the rail, taking the third spot now. Then comes Tayet and Warrior's Moon. Frost has been left alone on the front end, bounding along with a 2-length lead. Summer Daisy in second. Looking So Lucky, Noble Hearted at the rail. Tayet will go wide. And at the back is Warrior's Moon. They turn for home. Frost in front. Summer Daisy in hot pursuit with an 1/8 to go. Frost and Summer Daisy square off. 3 lengths back to Noble Hearted in third. Coming to the 16th pole, Frost or Summer Daisy. Frost a 1/2 length, Summer Daisy on the outside. Frost digs in tenaciously. Frost, Summer Daisy. Frost would not be denied. Summer Daisy comes up about a head or neck short. Noble Hearted was third. Then between Tayet and Looking So Lucky. Fourth, we start the late pick 5. No changes, 22 minutes. They're in the gate. And they're off. La Pulcinella bounces out swiftly. Midnight Jamboree on the outside. Happy Trails up close too. Then it's Cholima at the rail, and Clock Strikes 12 trails. Into the first turn they go. La Pulcinella with a narrow advantage. Midnight Jamboree, the heavy favorite, is a length back and wide in second. And down at the rail, it's Cholima in third. They're followed by Happy Trails, 3 off the pace in fourth, and another 6 to Clock Strikes 12. On to the backstretch, Abel Cedillo and La Pulcinella showing the way with Midnight Jamboree a length back second. 2 more back to Cholima. Then it's Happy Trails still in fourth, and 8 more to Clock Strikes 12. They're heading to the half-mile pole with La Pulcinella in front 3/4 of a length. Midnight Jamboree, an imposing presence to her outside in second. And then it's Cholima, 2.5 or 3 off the pace, pushed along in third, followed by Happy Trails. And now just 4 more to Clock Strikes 12, who gets a little bit more involved. Midnight Jamboree. On the outside of La Pulcinella, they're on even terms. 3 back to Cholima in third, followed by Happy Trails and Clock Strikes 12. Turning for home, Midnight Jamboree, La Pulcinella fights on willingly at the rail, but it's Midnight Jamboree who takes over at the 8th pole. La Pulcinella in second, followed by Clock Strikes 12 moving into third. Midnight Jamboree, just too strong and pulling away late. Midnight Jamboree scores by almost 4 lengths. La Pulcinella clearly second best. Clock strikes 12 was third. Running time 139.08 seconds. Fourth race, Santa Anita dedicates in loving. They're in the gate. And they're off. Exactly Wendy on the outside. Blonde Bombshell has plenty of speed too and is now up to take the lead, and she's a bit sassy. So she's a bit sassy, and Blonde Bombshell now go on to lead. Councilwoman Jilly is in third. Down at the rail, it's Busker Alley in fourth, only about 3 lengths off the early pace. Abita in the red silks is next. Exactly Wendy, who broke well, settles second to last, and a length in front of Heaven's Ghost. They swing on to the backstretch, and she's a bit sassy, is tugging pretty hard and has it by about 2.5 lengths. Blonde Bombshell is in second. Then Busker Alley along the rail in third, followed by Councilwoman Jilly, fourth, 5 lengths off the lead. Abita is comfortable just inside of that rival. Exactly Wendy, 2 behind them, and Heaven's Ghost at the back of the field. She's a bit sassy, has been loose on the front end most of the way, has it by almost 4 lengths as they round the far turn. Busker Alley, Blonde Bombshell clearly second. Abita has racing room and now swings into action, has 3.5 to make up, and Exactly Wendy is starting to pick up momentum. Purple Cap far outside. They're at the top of the stretch. Here's Blonde Bombshell coming right back at She's a Bit Sassy. Just behind them, Busker Alley, center of the course. Exactly Wendy is really finishing fast, and Exactly Wendy kicks it into high gear late and runs them all down. She's a Bit Sassy second. Photo for third between Blonde Bombshell and Abita, who got going late. Busker Alley fifth. But that's just one of many highlights of an unprecedented day that includes 15 stakes races across 2 first venues, a $5 million. They're in the gate. And they're off. Quick start for Head for Business, who goes straight to the front. Mad Catter has some early gas too. They're followed by Divinely Diverse and Bob Daniels side by side. Tucker's Tribute, Paula's Cause, 6 lengths off the lead. The 2 trailers, Adriatic, passed on the inside by Conundrum. Field heads into the far turn. It's Mad Catter needing by a head. Up alongside is Head for Business in second. Bob Daniels is the gray, a length back, 3 wide third. A gap of 3 back to Divinely Diverse, racing on the outside of Tucker's Tribute. Conundrum has 10 lengths to make up. Paula's Cause and Adriatic, they're at the top of the stretch. And Mad Catter hanging tough, in fact, pulling away. Mad Catter has it by 2 lengths with 1/8 of a mile to go. Bob Daniels moves into second. Head for Business third, and then Tucker's Tribute, a 16th to go. And it's Mad Catter by 3. And Mad Catter, forwardly placed throughout, takes care of business. Bob Daniels was second. Conundrum came alive late to finish third. Then Tucker's Tribute and Head for Business in a photo for fourth. 4. Note that number 3, Delmona, should be listed as a runner racing with Lasix for the first time. First time Lasix for number 3, Delmona, in the upcoming 7th. Post is 26 minutes away. They're in the gate. And they're off. Professor's Pride and Baby Steps are the first 2 out of the gate. And Baby Steps sprints up and now takes command. Big Switch is up close, as is Shopping for Pharaoh. Now, Professor's Pride, who broke on top, backs off. Delmona didn't have a good beginning, but is rushed right into contention and only 2 lengths off the lead. At the back of the field are She's Got Away, passed by Unbridled Mary. The field covered by about 5 lengths as they run down the hill. And it's Shopping for Pharaoh on the inside, baby steps up alongside. Those two will come to the quarter pole right together. Delmona and the Red Silks is close. Professor's Pride has no alternative but to go 4 wide. Unbridled Mary is looking for a seam. Down at the rail, big switch as they straighten for home. Shopping for Pharaoh, Delmona are head and head. A clear path for Unbridled Mary. Down on the inside, it's big switch. Delmona takes command with a furlong left to go. Just nudged along to a 2-length lead. Unbridled Mary on the outside moves into second late. It's Delmona. Unbridled Mary's coming now, and Unbridled Mary gets up right at the wire. Delmona second. Shopping for Pharaoh, She's Got Away was in a battle for fourth. (113.71 seconds). Carpe Bellum. St. Anthony completes the line. And they're off. Mo Gold rockets out of the inside post and takes command at once. Beef Winslow comes away in second. Then Happy Runner. Devil Moon wasn't quick out of there, but he's pretty fast now and moving right up into the third spot and coming after Mo Gold as they run down the back stretch. It's Mo Gold just in front. Devil Moon able to get to his inside and neck back second. And outside of them, it's Beef Winslow in third. Devil Moon having to steady just a touch now as the field moves into the far turn. Hopper is a joint fourth, racing on the inside of Happy Runner. It's a length and a half back to Admiral Halsey outside of that pair. Down on the inside, it's Upbeat, 8 off the lead. Then St. Anthony and Carpe Bellum. They pass the quarter pole and turn for home. Mo Gold's been in front every step of the way, hounded by Beef Winslow, who's a half length back. 3 more to Devil Moon. Center of the course, Happy Runner and Admiral Halsey. Mo Gold has to finish the job by Mike Smith, and he's going to do it. Mo Gold cruises to victory, wins it by 2. Beef Winslow second, Admiral Halsey third. Photo for fourth between Happy Runner and Devil Moon.
I'm Tom Quigley. He's Jack Carava, and you get to eavesdrop on our conversation for the next 34 minutes or so. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a glorious day here at the Great Race Place. And Jack Carava, welcome to the seminar.
Thank you, Tom.
It's great to have you. Now, first things first, of course, we know you as a former trainer. Now you're currently a jockey agent, which we'll get to in a moment. But why'd you leave the training rinks? Why'd you hang up the cleats?
Well, I trained horses for better part of 30 years, a little more, and just was looking for a little bit of a change. And the business has obviously changed in many ways, and was looking to kind of step away from some of the everyday in and out headaches and try something a little bit different. And this felt like a good fit for me. And so far, I've been very pleased with it.
Now, throughout your training career, Jack, you saddled 7,445 horses. You won with 1,107 of them. Your career earnings were in excess of $32 million. Of course, La Cañada Stables was a big part of your success. Maybe what are one or two moments you remember from your training career that kind of stick out, whether it's a horse or a memory of a special win, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, there were several over the years, obviously, that were very memorable. We ended up winning the training title at Hollywood Park one year on closing day with a winner that was we were tied going into the last day, and that was fun. And then there's been several horses over the years that we've claimed, and they stepped up and won some stakes, and kind of just nice older claiming horses that turned out to be really, really good horses, and those are always memorable types of horses, especially if they have a little personality, and it seemed like a lot of those did. We were real lucky with some sprinters over the year, claimed some sprinters that turned out to win some stakes, stuff like that. So it was that part of it's memorable, definitely.
You were known as a very solid claiming trainer. When you would drop a slip, what would be the things you would look for? Is it maybe an equipment change? Is it maybe a surface change? What do you kind of attribute your success to in the claiming game?
Back, things were a little bit different, a few years back where we were changing tracks and we were going from Santa Anita to Hollywood and then to obviously to Del Mar. And a lot of times I would claim horses that maybe liked Hollywood Park, that had gone off form here a little bit, had gotten a little bit cheaper. And Hollywood Park was coming up and tried to kind of match the horse with the track they seemed to like, because in those years surfaces were completely different, and did a lot of that. And then when I was looking to claim horses, basically their overall health and appearance, and if you can really tell if a horse is starting to turn the corner and starting to look like they're going to be doing well soon, or if a horse just looks wore out. And we tried to stay away from those wore out ones and try to find something that was maybe looking like they were going to start stepping up and running some better races.
Well, now you're a jockey agent and you represent two jockeys who are in the top 10 in the standings. So to say that you're doing well being a jockey agent would be an understatement. Specifically, let's start with Tyler Bays. He's currently 5th in the standings. He's only one win away from being in 4th place. And the names that are ahead of him are, of course, our household names, Flavia Pratt, Juan Hernandez, and John Velasquez. Abel Cedillo's currently in 4th. You're knocking down the door to get there. Tell us a little bit about Tyler and your relationship. What type of guy is he like?
Yeah, Tyler's a great guy to work for. He makes my job easy. He loves to work. He's a hard worker. I can put him on quite a few workers in the morning. That really opens a lot of doors for us. And you have to have something that opens doors for you. And his work ethic is one thing that really, really helps me. He's willing to come out early. Never a question, never any grumbling, just always there to do his job, and he's a consummate professional that way, and it's really helped me. And so that's the main thing with Tyler, is he's just a real hardworking guy, and if you put him on a live horse, he's gonna get the best from him. And that's the thing, looking for live horses all the time, and when those days fall, usually good things happen.
And the other jockey you represent is Kyle Frey. He's currently serving a 3-day suspension, but he's now in 9th place in the trainer standings. Of course, he's one of many migrants, so to speak, who have come down from Northern California to ply their trade here full time. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Kyle.
Kyle's another hard worker. Kyle has a lot of talent, and he just needs the right horses. You put Kyle on the right horses, and good things will happen. Unfortunately, have had him on quite a few long shots this meet and stuff like that, but he makes the best of it. And there's a lot of talent there, and he gets a lot of run out of horses. And just a good solid rider, and I think better things are to come for him. We got off to a little bit of a slow start here, but I can see better things on the horizon for Kyle. A lot of people like him, and he's got a great personality, as well as Tyler does. Both of them have great personalities, and they're a good complement for each other for me. Because a lot of times if I'm jammed up in a spot, people are willing to take one or the other because they're very similar.
I can see big things on our horizon during the next 30 minutes. That's because we're going to find out who Jack Carava likes on today's 9-race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on today's Saturday's card.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the firm turf is at 0 feet. Here are the changes. In the first race, start of the early pick 5, scratch number 2, Il Capitano. Second race, start of the early pick 4, no show wagering, scratch 3, gotta be lucky. In the third race, just the blinker note. The fourth race today starts the Rainbow 6 jackpot pool for a single ticket winner, starts at $53,000. In the fifth, start of the late pick 5, there are no changes. No changes in race 6, start of the late pick 4. The seventh is the Wishing Well Stakes, there are no changes. This afternoon's 8th race starts the Golden Hour pick 4, no changes. And in the 9th race, 3 Awesome Rhythm +1, scratch number 4 Hiding the Brick, 10 You're My Boy Cat, 4 pounds over. Those are the changes for today's program. Enjoy your afternoon at the Great Race Place. Post time for the first is in 58 minutes at 12:30. At this time, we go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's special guest today, Jack Carava.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Jack Carava. He's the former trainer and now the current jockey agent for both Tyler Bays and Kyle Frey. And a good card today, Jack. So let's kind of roll up our sleeves in this beautiful weather and take a look at race number 1, which kicks off the popular 50-cent early pick 5. And we're coming down the hillside turf course. This is for 3-year-olds, non-winners of 1 other than the rails today are at 0 feet. A field of 7 after the scratch of number 2, Il Capitano. Morning line favorite and the current betting choices on the rail number 1, Don't Swear Dave. But you have a runner in here, Jack. It's number 7, Oh Great, the Invader, who's a first-time gelding, first-time Lasix. Before we get your picks in the race, just a kind of a question about what goes into the decision making of gelding a horse. In other words, when you were training, what did you decide in terms of making that ultimate equipment change?
There's usually several different factors. Behavior obviously is one of them. Two, a lot of times horses will grow in a way when they're still a full horse, they'll start growing in a way where they'll get way too much weight up in their neck and shoulder area and a lot of pounding over those front legs. And so when a horse is proportionately doesn't look quite right, maybe too thick through their neck and shoulders, you'll want to get that weight off, and gilding will do that for the most part, most times, and they'll get a little bit sleeker, and sometimes it just increases their desire to be a racehorse, and it really just gets them more focused.
Oh, Great was running in Great Britain. We haven't seen him since August of 2021. This is a North American debut. He's been in training since the first of the year. Has Tyler been working this horse in the morning? And what do you think of your chances in this race, as well as your overall opinion of race one?
Typically Tyler with Jeff's horses will be working them quite often and work them up to a race. This particular horse, I don't believe Tyler's been on him a whole lot. He may have been on him once or so. So I don't know. He's kind of a question mark for me personally. Looking at his form, his last race was on synthetic. His previous three were just average. A lot of times with these European horses, when they get over here, they just change. They just change for different reasons. And sometimes, a lot of these Euros will excel over here. And that's the hope with this horse, is that he's a horse that will just take to American racing in general. And I don't think you can gauge every European horse's workouts in the morning, whether it be the training track or the main track here, and translate that to racing in the afternoon on the turf. So I don't believe this horse, from it looking at his works, doesn't look like he's been, blazing it up in the mornings. But at the same time, he is a European horse, maybe running with a little better types over there. You never know. And if he just happens to take to American style of racing, he could run very well.
We've got a number of European imports in the field besides Yermont, also on the outside, Relaxed Artist, as well as number 3, Almanera. Are those one of your top selections in the race, or are you looking elsewhere?
Yeah, my top selection in the race, is like you said, there's a number of European horses in here, and I kind of think that those horses maybe typically have a little bit of an edge. It was hard to decipher a lot of their forms, but my pick was on the far outside, Relaxed Artist. Was imported. Looked like he was running with some decent type of horses in Europe. It looks like he's got a touch of class, and looks like he's been training okay. So with that outside post, Umberto Rispoli on him, I like the post for him, and it looks like the type of horse that could run very well. I picked the horse that Tyler rides second in the race, not knowing, like I said, quite definitely a question mark, but he'll be a good price. And it was more of being against I think the one horse, Don't Swear Dave, is a horse that is probably the class of the race, and he's the horse with the current form, but he's got a couple things working against him. One is coming back on very short rest in a week, and he's on the rail. I've always been a big proponent of outside posts in sprints at Santa Anita. I think it's a huge advantage. So having to negotiate between the rail and coming back in a week, I thought, and the short price, I thought maybe go against him, even though he has been running against the best horses. And so I gave a look to the outside horse, first time in this country.
Beat the favorite in race number 1, so says Jack Carava. 8-7 are his top 2 selections in the first race. Let's turn the page. Take a look at race number 2. Starts the 50-cent early pick 4, this time 6.5 furlongs on the main track. It's a starter optional race. Scratch the 3, leaves us with a field of 4. Favoritism is going to vie between either the 1, 4, and 5. We'll see where it all settles come post time. But you do ride one of those favorites, Jack. Number 1, Smile for Me, is 9-5 on John White's morning line. And as I mentioned, one of the contenders. One thing we know is Smile for Me is a professional racehorse, 23-time starter, 12 of those times in the money. Talk to us about race 2.
Yeah, Smile for Me is this is probably my best chance for the day with Tyler, in my opinion. The only thing, obviously, that's working against him is the post. It's only a 4-horse field, but at the same time, in 4-horse fields, every rider knows where everybody's at. So, that's the one thing he has to overcome is the post. But he could fall into a trip here where 3 horses show speed and he just drops back and comes around. Smile for Me I've always been a fan of this horse. He's a hard trying little horse and gives his best every single time. So I think that's my best chance for the day. And I'm looking for him to run very well today, at least hoping so. Of the other 2 horses I like in the race, Big Sport coming from Chicago, obviously is put together a very good resume, winning 13 races from 37 starts. He's obviously a horse that loves to win, and you can never replace that. Horses that like to win always like to win. So, whether he can transfer his form from Chicago to here, we'll see. And then on the outside, you have Starship Chewbacca, who wins quite a few races himself. The one thing about Starship Chewbacca that you'll notice is that every time he wins a race, Juan Hernandez is on him, and he's not on him today. Nothing against Diego. Diego is a fine rider and rides very well, but this horse seems to really respond to Juan Hernandez in the afternoon, and so I tried to beat him a little bit with my horse on the rail and Big Sport.
And one additional comment on number 4, Big Sport, because he invades from Chicago, he is certainly eligible for the ship and win bonus that has proven to be lucrative for a number of barns here in Southern California. Race number 3, we're back on the turf course, this time on the flat turf course, 6.5 furlongs the distance. Another starter optional, starter allowance optional. Let me rephrase that. This is live TV. Starter allowance types going 6.5 furlongs on the turf course. As I mentioned, the rails are at 0 feet. We've got a good field of 8. And again, you ride in this race. Muay Thai, the 6 horse, is who you ride here, Jack. Before we get your thoughts on the race, I wanted to show the replay of Muay Thai's last race that Hector Palma claimed him out of. It was back on January 23rd. Let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action of Muay Thai's victory.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Nichiren is going to the front. Dream Robber has some speed. Quantum Quest now takes second. Crossword is up and on the pace too. They're followed by Muay Thai. Inside Sir Flatter. Another 3 back to Inch. Outside Warren's Candyman. And Me Macho at the back of proceedings. Down the back stretch they go. And it's Nichiren just in front. Quantum Quest second. 2 more. Dream Robber on the outside. A close-up third. Crossword at the rail under an ice hold in 4th, has 3 lengths to make up. It's another 4 back to Muay Thai, joined by Sir Flatter, a length and a half to Inch, then a gap to the 2 trailers, Warren's Candyman and Me Macho. They have a quarter of a mile to go. Nichiren has been doing battle with Quantum Quest throughout. Just behind them, Crossword tipping off the rail, and then Dream Robber in 4th. They're followed by Muay Thai in the green. They're in the final furlong. Muay Thai angling to the far outside, and now starting a motor home. Here's Muay Thai coming right at them, gobbling them up with a 16th of a mile to go under Flavian Pratt, who was confident throughout. Muay Thai jogs. Second to Crossword. Third, Inch. Then it was Quantum Quest in front of Dream Robber.
Jack, that race was 6 furlongs. Today's race is 6.5. Hector Palma, as I mentioned, dipped in and took Muay Thai. Hector Palma, courtesy of Brad Free at the Racing Form, has won with 6 of his last 16 runners. First off the claim, talk to us about who you like in this race and why.
Yeah, I'm obviously staying very hopeful with Muay Thai since we're riding him, and his last race was visually impressive. I'm not sure of the company he was keeping compared to some of the other horses in this race, maybe been running against a little tougher horses. So while staying very, very hopeful for Muay Thai's chances, his last race on Muay Thai was a cutback in distance. It seemed like it worked very well, and maybe he'll continue to move forward with the cutback in distance. And a lot of times, like we spoke about earlier with these European horses, they need to find their niche here in America, and maybe this is what it is for him. So staying very hopeful with him. But looking at the rest of the race, I looked at Augusta Melody thinking that he's been keeping very good company. He has a very cozy outside post. Victor be able to kind of do whatever he wants with him out there. Again, being fan of outside posts in sprints, grass or dirt here. I picked him on top, Augusta Melody. With that post, I think he's just going to have a real sweet trip. Second, I picked Johnny Padres. I've ridden this horse with Tyler in the past. He's run against some very, very tough company in the past, and is maybe a little bit better horses than these types, or at least with these type of horses. And he's a horse that looks like he's a hard trying little dude, and he's actually a big horse, and tries very hard, and just seems like he, with a little bit of a break, he might be stepping up to a fresh, nice race. And so I picked him second, and like I said, the whole time staying very hopeful for Muay Thai's chances.
5-1 on Jack's top selection in race number 3, number 8, Augusta Melody. Race number 4 begins the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. The jackpot single ticket carryover now up to $53,000. $50,000. And we kick things off sprinting 7 furlongs on the main track for maiden claiming 3-year-olds. $50,000 is the claiming tag. Take note of 2 first-time geldings. Number 1, Memes, as well as number 4, Big Creek, are both first-time geldings. The morning line favorite. Number 3, Corsica Flavor, 8-5 on John White's morning line. Also good to see Emily Ellingwood back in the saddle for number 4, Big Creek, trained by Ryan Hansen. Great to see her back on track. As I mentioned, Jack, you don't have a mount in this race, but I know you have an opinion. Tell us what it is.
I think I looked at the 5-horse Climp to Glory for Steve Miotti. Cut back in distance from longer races to 7/8. Seems like it would be a good fit for him. Again, with a good cozy outside draw with the 5-hole. Juan should be able to, Hernandez should be able to ride this race however he wants. There is some obvious speed right next to him in Big Creek, and I think he'll be able to just track that horse and have first run on him. Besides him, I looked at the 2-horse Salta de Tigre, thinking that maybe he'll move forward a bit in his second out. His first one was against pretty decent horses. It was that race where that $200,000 claiming maiden race. And with that start under his belt, he probably could move forward in his second out. So I look for him to improve a bit. But my first pick is the 5-horse Climp to Glory.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at race number 5. Begins the 50-cent late pick 5, and we're back on the turf course. $25,000 claimers, a field of 7. Morning line favorite is number 4, WW from the John Sadler barn. 2-1 on the morning line. No mount here as well. There's more forthcoming down the road. But talk to us about race 5, Jack.
Yeah, I was looking at the favorite WW as my top pick. He looks like he could be the controlling speed of the race. Been running against better horses than these. This is definitely some class relief for him. I would think you would see some improvement in his performance just based on the class relief. So I picked WW on top. He's got a good style for this particular race with not a lot of pace probably to go with him. So he should have a smooth journey from there. And then for second, I picked the 5-horse Move Over. He's a hard-knocking horse, always thereabouts, always gives an honest performance and been at least on the board in his last few. Berto Rispoli riding him, I think he'll be a good fit for him. A hard-knocking type of horse, and I picked him for second.
Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. Back on the main track sprinting. 6.5 furlongs of the distance for maiden special weight 3-year-old fillies. Bob Baffert trains 2 in here, but the morning line favorite is number 3, Lady T, returning from a November layoff from the John Sadler barn. 8-5 on the morning, 8-5 on John White's morning line. Again, no mount in this race. But before we get your opinion, John, I wanted to take a look at a workout for a relative long shot in this particular race. It's number 5, Every Step of the Way from the Jonathan Wong barn. She worked on February 11th here at the Great Race Place. Let's take a look at that workout and get your impressions of the workout, and I'll tell you what I thought as well. The first thing, Jack, as we're watching her work out, is that they bring her back in a maiden special weight level, even though she was disappointing last time out. And you know, as a previous trainer, anything can happen in a race. So although she finished dead last in that race, Jonathan Wong shows a lot of confidence in bringing her back at the same level, and they also get the riding services of Ricky Gonzalez. Now, as we transfer over to this workout, you can see the exercise boy or girl is high up in the saddle, not really asking this horse for much, and yet the time is very good, a minute and change, 4th best out of 30 at that distance that day. It just looks like something where you've maybe got to give a pass to a horse for whatever reason. Sometimes they put up a bad performance, and you can't really see it in the past performances.
Yeah, for a filly to get beat 26 lengths, obviously something went sideways in her first start, and based on that work, it looks like she could obviously step her game up a lot better in her second out. With that said, she's didn't catch the easiest bunch of horses, so
especially a $1 million filly on the bottom.
Yeah, you got a $1 million yearling filly that looks like she's training well for Bob Baffert with a great draw and a great rider on the outside, and so that would be my second choice. My first choice is Lady T, the favorite. This is some extreme class relief for her coming out of back-to-back stakes. She was beating the nose when she did last time she did run in a maiden allowance race. So this is huge class relief for Lady T, and I'm sure she'll run very well today.
You used the word class a couple of times during the seminar, Jack, and I just want to kind of visit that or kind of probe a little bit deeper. Do trainers believe in class? In other words, a lot of handicappers just believe in speed figures or, watching race replays. But is there validity to the word class? And is there something called class relief, in your opinion, as a trainer?
Yeah, I believe so. If it's tough to compare times a lot of times. The racetrack change. I love looking at times, maybe comparing them from race to race on the same card, but there's so many variables that go into times, and times are a lot of times are. It's because of internal fractions and stuff like that, but
or even track maintenance.
Yeah, track maintenance, and back in the day, we could all remember when this track was a lot faster than this. You could look back on days where $10,000 claiming horses on a day it was fast could run 108 and change. Could those horses come back and run 108 and change against $50,000 horses? I was always under the belief that while horses can get sharp and can run fast, it's more about the class, and if just because a horse can run fast on a certain day doesn't necessarily mean they can do that and run against much, much better horses the next time.
And we see it in human sporting events. There might be a quarterback in college who looks like an absolute star, and then he gets to the NFL and all of a sudden he doesn't look quite as good. That's a measure of class, and I think the measure of class in horse racing is somewhat similar.
Absolutely.
Race number 7 is the Wishing Well Stakes, $75,000 added for 6.5 furlongs on the turf course, which is the flat turf course. We've got a field of 7 here. The morning line favorite in Jack Carava's favorite post position on the outside, number 7. Hear My Prayer from the Vladimir Serin barn. Juan Hernandez could be in store for a big day today, but you do have a mount in this race. It's number 5, Spirit of Bermuda, trained by Simon Callahan. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Jack, I want to go back and watch the replay for Spirit of Bermuda's last performance, which was on January 28th. Let's watch that replay together and get your thoughts after the race.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Tardy beginning for New Heat. It's a quick one for Shore Break. Miss Fia flashing speed. Here's Spirit of Bermuda coming faster than all. And Spirit of Bermuda now has a narrow lead. Miss Fia tries to match strides in second. Another 2 back to Cordiality, who's a joint third as they run down the hill. Shore Break is in between rivals, and Royal Address outside of that pair. A gap of 4, Sensible Cat was just passed by New Heat. It will be Spirit of Bermuda to be the pacemaker, prompted by Miss Fia, and Cordiality is 2 lengths off the pace in third. Royal Address, Shore Break between those two as they take closer order. Sensible Cat inching up in the red colors, far outside. Will have to go about 6 wide, and then New Heat. They're at the top of the stretch, and it's Spirit of Bermuda trying to fend off Royal Address, and in the center, Sensible Cat continues to make solid headway, coming to the 16th, and Sensible Cat coming after Royal Address between horses and Spirit of Bermuda. Royal Address is just in front at the rail. Spirit of Bermuda and Sensible Cat. Here it is. Sensible Cat ran them down. Royal Address lost a heartbreaker. Spirit of Bermuda, and it's a photo for 4th.
Spirit of Bermuda, Jack, ran very game in that performance we just watched. Perhaps she could improve off that since this is just her 3rd start since September of last year. What do you think about race 7?
Yeah, again, hoping that for the best with Spirit of Bermuda, she's been taking small jumps forward in her 2 starts that we've ridden her. She moved forward from her first race at Belmont, the first time she ran for Simon here at Santa Anita, and then she took, she moved up a little bit more. And if she continues to take that improving sort of pattern, I could see her being right in the thick of it in this race. With that said, she's probably, again, going back to class, she might be taking a little bit of a step up in class with this overnight stake. And she's seeing a little bit maybe tougher horses than she's seen in her first 2 races. While I don't think it's much different, I think it's pretty close. I picked a couple fillies in this race. Hear My Prayer on the outside, coming out of a grade 3 stake, running very well, getting beat only 1.5 lengths. She seems like she's been running against the best horses. Again, with the cozy draw, she's coming out just out of the best races, so I picked her on top. Alice Marble is a filly that is very, very consistent, runs very well in every start. I rode her at Los Alamitos with Kyle. She ran a very game race that day, came back in the Calbred Stake and ran another good race to Legs Galore. I see those 2 as the horses to beat. Hear My Prayer and Alice Marble, and then the Spirit of Bermuda I think will be there or thereabouts, and if she continues her improving pattern, she could be definitely right there for the win.
The Wishing Well Stakes, named in memory of the mother of Sunday Silence. Of course, Wishing Well was trained by Gary Jones and Sunday Silence trained by Charlie Whittingham. You rub shoulders with those guys. That's kind of old school, so to speak, but maybe a memory or 2 about what those guys were like on the backside.
Yeah, they were were great guys, and obviously I was more of a kid then, but I was around the track and always looked at. Tried to watch the kind of things that they did all the time. As I started training, I trained for several years for the Lima family trust of Michael Lima, and his wife Loretta, and their partners, and they owned Wishing Well. They claimed her, and was a terrific claim that turned out to be, like you said, Sunday Silence's mom later down the line, but she was a terrific filly as a racehorse, and they owned her, and that's what kept them going in this game and kept them interested, and that was one of their first good horses.
It's funny. It's funny, Jack. Charlie used to say, never say anything bad about a horse until it's been dead for 10 years, because you never know what might happen. And Wishing Well certainly is an example of that. Claimed off the track and turned out to be the mom of one of the most successful racehorses ever born. Race number 8 begins the $1 Golden Hour Pick 4, linking our last 2 races with the last 2 races at Golden Gate. And we kick things off sprinting 7 furlongs on the main track for maiden special weights here in race 8. A field of 7. The morning line favorite number 3, Set Sail, a 3-year-old taking on older, as is number 3, Vituro. But you ride number 2, American Admiral, for Tim Yakteen, going from a route to a sprint. What say you about race 8?
Yeah, I saw this race between American Admiral and Set Sail. Set Sail, obviously, you're having to go based on workouts. Just looks like a quality horse based on pedigree and his works. Looks like a horse that is training very, very well. You know, to work 1:12 and 3 in the morning here is, even though it was fourth of 6 works that day, you know, it takes a pretty nice horse to work that fast on this track and then come back with a 7/8 and 25. This horse looks like he's got some quality. I believe the clocker reports on him are pretty positive as well. So I see him as a very, very nice horse, and we'll see whether he shows that first time out. The 2-horse American Admiral, who Tyler rides, has been again taking steps forward. He was a very expensive yearling. They thought highly of him, and I think he's a horse that was been a little bit on the disappointing side, but his last couple races, he seems to be stepping forward in each start, and his race at Los Alamitos was terrific, where he was second beating ahead to Disco Ball, who came back and won an allowance race here, got disqualified, but won an allowance race, and then his last race, Soy Tapatio, came back and ran well in his subsequent start as well. So American Admiral seems like he's definitely headed in the right direction, and the cutback in distance 7/8 I don't believe was Tim's first choice. I think it was something that was more of a compromise than anything. I think he would have preferred to run the horse long again. But with that said, he took what was coming. But he is a horse that's definitely on the improve. So I'm very hopeful for him to run well. But it looks like on paper, if Set Sail is the quality that he looks like in the morning and can transfer that to the afternoon, he looks like a horse that'll be very formidable.
We close out the card in race number 9 on the turf course, sprinting 6 furlongs of the distance. Maiden claiming 3-year-olds, $62,500 is the claiming tag. Also, race 9 begins the $5 Golden Hour Daily Double. Similar concept. Last race here with the last race at Golden Gate. Scratch the 4. Leaves us with a field of 10. The morning line favorite is also a first-time gelding. That's number 9. Mow Them Down, 3-1 on the morning line. Tough race to close it out, but that's why you're here, Jack. Give us a winner.
Well, I thought this was one of the more wide open races on the card, if not the most wide open race on the card. A lot of question marks in this race. I picked the 6-horse Disco Tribute, first timer, been training at San Luis Rey Downs for Richard Baltus, but has the services of Rispoli. Looks like a horse who will enjoy turf with his pedigree in a wide open race. I look to him to run pretty well. He looks like he's working very consistently in the morning and looks like he might have some ability based on his works. For second, I picked the 1-horse, more just for barn and rider, Juan Hernandez, John Sadler. He didn't run that great in his first out, but could move forward with a move to turf and improvement second out.
Jack, you're a credit to the sport. Good luck with both Tyler and Kyle going forward. Thank you so much for joining us today and providing us with your handicapping insight.
Well, thank you, Tom.
And thanks to all of you for watching as well. Make sure you have a fun day today, and hopefully it'll be a profitable day as well, courtesy of Jack Carava. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Frank Maramati, updating us with any program changes. Have fun, everybody, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf is at 0 feet. Here are the changes. First race starts the early pick 5 with a scratch at number 2, Il Capitano. Second race, early pick 4 offered, scratch 3, gotta be lucky, no show wagering. In the third, no scratches or jockey changes. Fourth race starts the Rainbow Pick 6. There's $53,000 in the jackpot pool for a single ticket winner. Rainbow 6 starts with race 4. In the fifth, start of the late pick 5, no changes. No changes in the sixth, beginning of the late pick 4. The seventh race is the Wishing Well Stakes. No changes. That must be a new scratch coming in. Stand by. 7th race, Wishing Well Stakes. The scratch just came in for number 1, Thrilling. Number 1, Thrilling, is now scratched out of the 7th. There will be no high five wagering with that late scratch. It's an early scratch, but it came in a little late. And in the 8th race, start of the Golden Hour Pick 4. No changes. 9th race starts the Golden Hour Double. 3, Awesome Rhythm +1. Scratch 4, Hiding the Brick. And 10, You're My Boy Cat, 4 pounds over. Those are the changes on today's program. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the first is in 25 minutes at 12:30 p.m.